Hey guys, last year Fractal released a very well received case called Torrent. It came with some pretty impressive 180mm fans and was quickly labelled by the public as the Airflow King. Everyone across the whole industry rated it as one of the best cases of 2021. This year we get its little brother called Torrent Nano, the scaled down version for a smallish build factor. It comes in at 34.6 litres in size and looks pretty bold. The question you may have is it still worth getting it? Let's dive right in. Also, if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. First and foremost, this is a smaller case than Torrent, but in no way we can call it a small form factor case. These are normally reserved to 20 litres or smaller. I would say it's more of a compact case for you to place on your desk while keeping enough space to fit a bunch of components inside of it. The case comes with a single 180mm fan at the front and it has 4 different versions. Black with dark tempered glass tint, black with RGB and light tint like we have right here, white with clear tint, and finally black with solid steel panels. The power supply can be installed at the top of the case, just like its bigger brother Torrent, with supported length of up to 200mm. For air cooler, the maximum height supported is 165mm, which should be enough to fit most mainstream units. Below you can fit up to triple slot GPU with maximum length of 335mm while using the pre-installed fan, or up to 310mm if you're using alternative fans installed in a lower position. There is also enough space for a single 3.5-inch drive as well as 3 2.5-inch drives. If you wish to forego the larger drive, then 4 2.5-inch drives can be installed. At the top of the case we have nicely laid out I/O, which includes separate microphone and headphone ports, 2 USB 3.0 ports, as well as single USB Type-C 10GB port. What intrigued me is the amount of fan and radio positions this case supports. In its stock configuration it allows up to 2 140mm fans at the bottom and single 120mm fan at the back. But bear in mind that thicker graphics cards will take up more space and you may not have enough space for the fans. Similar story goes for the radiator support. If you're planning it correctly, there is enough space to mount up to 3 of them. For those who are thinking about doing a full water cooling build, we're actually working on something right now. Do make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. With the basics covered, let's run through what you get in the box and start building. In the larger accessory pack, there are brackets to convert from a single 180mm fan at the front to 2 fans up to 140mm in size, as well as GPU anti-sag bracket. In the second pack, we find all the screws, as well as some cable ties and microfiber cloth to clean all that tempered glass. I'm a little conflicted. While I like the screws individually organized, I would prefer all companies to move away from using plastic bags for this. Now to the build itself. For easy access, I really recommend taking off all the panels, and for this you don't need any tools. It nicely clicks off and on. The included manual is detailed enough for even somebody with low amount of experience. I do recommend pulling through the CPU power cable before installing the power supply. Also, depending on your motherboard and cooler, you may struggle to reach some of the connections, so try to plan that ahead of time. This is the fun challenge of building in a smaller case. While building, I noticed that ARGB cable from the fan has a splitter to plug in the LED strip by the power supply. It is a nice little touch. In this particular setup, we're using a 2.5 slot 6900 XT. As you can see, there is still a little bit of space left for the larger card, but it might be a tight squeeze. I found grommet placement around the case is well thought out, especially the bottom right one for the GPU power cables. To push my luck, I used cable extensions to both make it look good as well as check if there's enough space to hide the remaining cables, and I must say this worked out really well. Pro tip: if you're running cables below the graphics card, take off the bottom filter and you'll have some extra access. For cable managing the back, there are 4 well-placed Velcro straps which can be used to either neatly route all the cables or, like me, quickly hide them away. Don't forget to cable manage up the top and install the hard drive cage. Even with my quick and dirty job as well as those cable extensions, there's still plenty of room to spare, which is a win in my book. Once everything is done, I must say it does look really clean. Personally, I wish it came with a solid back panel, as there is normally nothing nice to show off here, especially the way I did it. As it is right now, there is still plenty of space for a large air cooler, and overall I'm pleased with the result. If I were to rate the build process, I'd say it is generally pretty easy if you have a smaller graphics card like we have here. For triple slot card you will likely struggle a bit more, unless you have custom sleeve cables which you could nicely tuck away. Other than that, there is plenty of space to navigate around, especially if you mount the cooler last. For testing, we now have designated test bench, which features an overclocked Intel i7-8700K, which pulls about 170 watts, and AMD Radeon 6900 XT pulling 255 watts. To keep things consistent, we're aiming at 40 dBA for the noise normalized tests. Because of this, the GPU is set to 50% fan speed, which comes at below 40 dBA. Our testing room noise floor is 32 dBA and ambient temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. Testing is carried out at 50 centimeters distance. To test case performance, we're running both Prime 95 and Furmark tests simultaneously for an extended period of time to allow components to reach equilibrium. Since this is the first use of this particular bench, we don't have anything to compare it to, so apologies for that. Regardless, in our noise normalized test, we found GPU topped out at 95 degrees, and when we ran the case fans at default speed, the temperature of the GPU only reached 92 degrees. At stock fan speeds, the recorded noise level is 44 dBA. What is more interesting in both noise normalized and default fan speeds, Fractal Nano managed to hold CPU temperature in low 80s. But there's a catch. When we look at the power consumption graph, both examples start strong, and after about 5 minutes we'll find some throttling while running noise normalized fan profile. This is pretty extreme battering of a system though, so in normal use I would expect the case performance to be pretty good. Another thing to note, the noise produced by the larger fan has different pitch from your standard fan. It is more of a low pitch humming noise, which is not that distracting. Take a listen. To conclude, I feel Fractal has delivered a great small case at a reasonable price. While $120 to $130 price mark is not the cheapest, you do get a premium feeling case with a nice fan as well as well-designed internals. I do wish they included an extra 1 or 2 fans with this, but other than that, I really can't fault it. If you want to check out any of the items covered in the video, the links are in the description below. I hope you found this useful. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up and subscribe for more. We'll see you guys in the next one.